Okay, I'm back. This is the part two. Sorry about that. I had to log off for a second, but we're still doing the same topic. We're still talking about leveling up our health and leveling up our beauty. I want to hear what you guys think about this topic and things that you're doing to level up your health right now because health is important. I always do this. There's always like a second that I have to get my camera right because it doesn't let me see it before. Otherwise, I would do that. So yeah, if I'm looking over here, it's because I have to see my TikTok too. There's an art to live streaming. I'm not there yet. I will get better. This is my challenge for the moment. All right, so we are talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our appearance and our beauty. If you didn't see part one is on my YouTube channel. It's recorded. We were talking about part of leveling up our health and leveling up our appearance is understanding that we can't be our own worst enemy. We can't be our biggest op, okay? We can't be the person that's literally sabotaging our own goals. It can't be coming from us. No way. Okay? So that was part 1 of leveling up our health and our appearance. Was not being your biggest op. That was the number one thing, right? And part 1 to this video is on my YouTube channel. I had to come back on, so it broke up a little bit. But yeah, we're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our appearance. Hi, YouTube. Hi, TikTok. I'm back. Talking about leveling up our health and our appearance. So, the first thing was not being our biggest op, not being our worst enemy, okay? Not sabotaging ourselves in private, especially because your habits show the things that you do in private. Then we talked about passing the vibe check, doing the things that we need to get on like a good vibe again. A lot of people were saying little things that they do to kind of hold on. I have to fix my YouTube camera because it's a little bit awkward. One sec. I don't know how people do this live thing. Like, I'm gonna get better. But yeah, we're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our appearance. There was a part 1. That whole thing is recorded and on my channel, but I had to get off. So this is part 2. What are we doing to level up our health, level up our appearance? Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat. On YouTube too, let me know what you're doing right now to level up your health, your appearance, okay? On the first part, we were talking about not being our own worst enemy, not sabotaging ourselves. I was saying how one of my goals was that I'm trying to eat cleaner, but how can I do that if I'm addicted to DoorDash, right? I had to get off DoorDash. I had to stop being my own op. We talked about, passing the vibe check, doing the things that we need to do to get into that good vibe, get into like that higher frequency. A lot of people were sharing the things that they do to get into that place. And I was seeing some of the things that I do to get into a good vibe and romanticize my day is playing the songs that I like. I was sharing some songs that I like, romanticizing my day, making it feel like you're on vacation every day. Those are the small things that we can do every day to make ourselves feel good that kind of affect our appearance too. Romanticizing our goals. Right now, I was talking about how I had to learn how to romanticize eating clean again because that's part of what I want to do. And I had to find ways to romanticize that, make that enjoyable. So I watch a lot of videos now. I watch people cook. I watch people that are really into nutrition and find ways to make it fun. That's kind of what keeps me in the habit of doing that, right? And then we were talking about how being attractive and being more attractive, like the pink and blue. Thank you. Hi, YouTube. I'm back. This is part 2. I had to get off for a second, but we're still talking about leveling up our beauty, leveling up our appearance. Yeah. So then on the part 1, also, we were talking about how being attractive is based on basically how healthy you look. Like literally, sometimes there's like evolutionary evidence for this that there's small things that people pick up on that determine whether or not they find us attractive. And it comes down to really simple things. It comes down to like literally how shiny your hair is, like how white your eyes are, your physique. Like things that signify health are also things that signify beauty. Why is that? That's like that for a reason, right? So literally how attractive you are comes down to how healthy you are. That's why we're talking about leveling up our health and appearance because the two things are, almost the same thing. So being attractive is based on how healthy you look. We talked about that in part one. We talked about taking care of hair, skin, and nails, right? Because that signifies your beauty too. And then now we're gonna get on to part two of the video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, we did a whole part one that's recorded. This is part two to leveling up your health and your beauty. So what I want to say, hi TikTok, talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty. What I also want to say is that obviously where you focus your attention affects your mental health. So sometimes we literally have to watch the thing, like pay, if we're not feeling good, if we feel like we're not doing the things that we have to do, we have to pay more attention to what we're listening to and what we're watching, because that literally affects your mental health, and your mental health affects your appearance. That's why when you're in a good mood, when you're not having high stress, you literally look better. You literally look like more beautiful when you're relaxed. Why is that? Why is that, right? So, part of leveling up our health and leveling up our appearance is watching where we're putting our attention, watching where we're focusing our energy, watching and paying attention to the things that we're listening to, the things that we are watching. Um, and I feel like I've gotten into the habit sometimes when I'm like really like no BS, like now is the time, it's now or never. I'm gonna do this thing no matter what. When I get like that type of locked in, what happens is that I personally, for me, I don't know about you guys, but I have to do this thing where sometimes I don't go online at all and I will not answer my phone at all. At all. And it's not personal. It's just that I'm using that time to focus my attention on the thing that I'm trying to do. Does that make sense? So it's not like I'm trying to be rude, but that's literally how I refocus my energy and call it back to myself and literally like improve my mental health is by putting all of my attention on the thing that I'm trying to do. Like, and I feel like that's why people say sometimes that when you're trying to do something, it's better sometimes to not talk about it, because like I heard, and I think this is true also. Let me know what you guys think, but when you talk about your goal to people, it does the same thing for your mind as if you already did it. So that's why sometimes like people talk about things all the time, but like they don't actually put action. It's because a part of them already feels like they've done it already. Just by talking about it, it released like that level of dopamine. Like it makes them feel like they already did that thing, and that's not necessarily true. So sometimes we have to like stop talking about the thing and actually do it. And that's why they say, like, especially when it comes to like losing weight and stuff, that you don't tell people when you're trying to lose weight. You just do what you have to do and lose the weight, and then people will notice. Because what happens as soon as you tell somebody that you're trying to lose weight? What happens? What happens? People offer you that cake. People try to make, they say, "Oh, this is nothing, like you're going to be fine," but you're locked in, okay? So sometimes we have to just not even talk about our goals. I'm not even necessarily saying like evil eye. I'm just saying that I don't know why naturally people just have this habit of like trying to test you. Like they just try to test you. Someone said on YouTube they put you down. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, and I feel like sometimes it's not even not in, I feel like it's not intentional, like it's not malintent, but it's just like something that people do. Like I don't know why. So I noticed that when I was trying to lose weight, when I would be vocal about it and tell people, this is what I hear. You don't have to lose weight. You look fine the way you are. You know, you don't need to lose weight. You're going to be so skinny. Nobody's going to see you. You're going to disappear. But it's like, I have other reasons that I'm trying to get in shape besides like being skinny. You know what I mean? I don't need somebody, like it kind of does this thing where it plays with your mind and it kind of discourages you. So sometimes we have to like keep the things that we're working on the low just for ourselves. Okay, this is true on TikTok. Someone said they're not going to care as much as you. That's true. People don't care as much about your goals as you do. And not everybody has the same goals. So they're not going to value the same things that you do. And that's just, someone said, I think that's just a human thing. Yeah, I know, I agree. So yeah, I've learned that when I'm really, really, really trying to like lock in on something and make something happen, it's better to just keep it under wraps and just let the results show. Let it show. Once you've lost that weight, you pop out. You know what I'm saying? You don't pop out and talk about how you're trying to lose weight, because one thing leads to another. Someone said, you're gonna disappear. Who said that to you? I mean, I'm just making fun, but I'm saying these are the kinds of things that people say. But I think it's so true what someone said about they're not going to care as much as you do. Yeah. People don't care as much as you do about your own personal goals. So we're talking about leveling up our beauty, leveling up our health. I want to hear all about what you guys are doing to improve your health, improve your appearance. What are we doing? There's a part one on my YouTube channel if you missed it before. Okay. Someone said, yeah, you got to keep it behind the curtains. The world is a stage. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Someone said eating clean. That's what I'm working on too. I talked about that in part one. That's like the number one thing I'm working on right now is changing what I eat. So I totally agree. um and at first it's going to feel really hard. At first you're going to feel like I was saying in part 1 that I had to train myself out of eating DoorDash all the time, and it was so weird cuz like the first 3 days of actually like really being on point with what I eat and really being aware of what I'm eating, it was almost like emotional to like let go of some of these foods that I've gotten in the habit of eating. I don't know why. It's just like I guess it's just a habit, and habits are hard to let go of. But now I'm like a week into like eating this way, and now it feels natural. But at first, those 3 days were like a learning curve. You know what I mean? Someone said consumption of media is important too. What's on your screen is important. Yep, that's what I was talking about earlier. We have to pay attention to what we're listening to, what we're watching. That's why sometimes I prefer to make the content and actually get on here and talk about stuff, because I feel like it's more motivating for me even to just be creative and not always be consuming stuff. A lot of entrepreneurs say that too, how they prefer to like create versus consume. That's what they attribute to their success. Someone said DoorDash is more expensive than just going. Not to mention it makes you broke. Literally, it makes you broke. It puts you overweight. It's just like, ugh, like it's, I had to really let that go. But it sucks because you have things right there, like immediate gratification. All right. So we're talking about leveling up our appearance, leveling up our beauty, and just obviously like my page and my YouTube channel is all about just leveling up in general. Someone said DoorDash be stealing. Yeah, I know. I had to cut that out because when you add up, it's like, oh my gosh. And then the fees, it's like you're really paying like 20 extra dollars for like a burrito. You end up paying double the price. Like just walk to the damn burrito place. Just walk. Okay. All right. Next, talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm live on my TikTok, Dream Styling NYC. If you're watching this on my TikTok, I'm live on my YouTube channel. Subscribe there. I'm more active on there as well. Someone said good morning. Good morning. Okay, so talking about leveling up our appearance, leveling up our beauty. We have to obviously focus on our mental health, because stress takes away your beauty. Stress is a beauty drainer. Stress is like when you're really stressed out, say bye to your beauty, say bye to your looks, say bye to your glow, say bye to, yeah, it takes a lot away. Someone gave me a gift. Thank you. Um, yeah, so cutting down on stress is gonna literally make you look better, but not like I feel like looking a certain way is a byproduct of living a certain way. It's a byproduct of like thinking a certain way, of having positive thoughts. Like it's literally something that you can take action on and train yourself into being. You know what I mean? Like, and people, I feel like a lot of people go wrong when they are trying to like level up their appearance, right? And they're trying to become more attractive by just focusing on like the outside, right? Like and getting like the work or like whatever it is, but it's actually a combination of all of these things that gives you that like je ne sais quoi. Like nobody can match that kind of vibe, like that really makes you stand out. I feel like standing out is also a part of being really attractive. But that's probably another video. So yeah, where you're focusing your attention, like somebody mentioned, definitely affects your mental health. So sometimes, we are on automatic. We're not even really aware of what it is that we're doing, what it is that we're watching. Sometimes you have to stop, take a second. If you're not feeling good, if you feel like you have anxiety, if you feel like you're down, who are you listening to? What are you watching? Okay? What are you spending your time doing? Because when you improve your mental health, obviously you're going to improve your appearance, and obviously your mental health is a part of your whole body health. And like I was saying earlier, sometimes like if I'm really trying to I have like a foolproof safe plan. When I'm down bad and I'm trying to like come back, I do certain things. One of those things, I don't go online and I don't answer my phone. Okay, I'm unreachable for a day or two, and for some reason this literally like does a lot for me, because I feel like as much as fun as it is to be online, watch these fun videos, spend time on like TikTok and social media and connect with our friends, go out, be social. There's nothing more healing than just literally shutting the heck up and just like, you know, sometimes we have to just shut up and just be quiet for a day or two. Like, I know people fast from food, but people also, I think, I don't know what culture it is, but there are some people that fast from talking. Like, fasting is important in a lot of different ways. Fasting from social media, fasting from food, fasting from talking, like, especially if you feel like something is hard for you to let go of. It's good every once in a while to fast from that because we don't want to have that kind of dynamic in our life. This fit is giving. Thank you. This is actually a workout shirt. But we're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty. All right. So obviously, our mental health is a part of that. And what you're consuming is going to affect your mental health a lot. Like, I feel like people underestimate how much even TV can affect your mood. Like, have you ever watched a show or watched a movie and something happens to the character in the show and then you feel like it's happening to you? Like, a part of your like nervous system is intertwined with what you're watching. So you got to be careful sometimes with what you're watching. Okay, and who you're listening to. That's why sometimes I also like I'll go a few days without listening to music and I'll just listen to like, um motivational stuff or like sermon, spiritual guidance kind of content because that's my way of fasting from like mainstream media and that really does help me create mental space. But nothing helps you create mental space more than silence sometimes. And that's free. Okay, if you're just quiet and you don't listen to anything and you just go on a walk, that's free mental health service right there. Okay, so yeah, let me know if you know what I mean. But the next thing I want to say about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty is obviously fitness and nutrition. We all have different goals. You guys tell me what your goals are right now with your fitness, with your nutrition, or maybe you don't have any and you're just starting to think about it right now. Let me know what you're trying to do. Greetings. We're talking about leveling up our health and leveling up our appearance. So let me know what you think about that. And when it comes to fitness and nutrition goals, I feel like the best way to go about it is to start small and then build your way up. Okay. Don't let it become something that's like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, just do one thing at a time, one day at a time, one thing at a time, right? So, if you feel like both your fitness and your nutrition need work, like you're not where you want to be with either one, choose one of those things that you're going to focus on maybe for a week or for a month, right? Because it takes time to actually see results and build the habit. But maybe we have to start small. So you focus on your nutrition first. Maybe you're just more mindful of what you're eating. You get a gauge on how many calories you're eating, what kinds of foods you're eating, and then you adjust from there, right? And then you work your way up to whatever your big goal is. But like these small goals, these small habits are what's going to create results. And a lot of people, they see people that have success in any area of their life and they're like, oh my gosh, what did you do? Or how did you do that? Like thinking that it's just one thing that that person did to get that. And it's like literally 1,000 things that that person had to do to get there, but people think it's just like one thing and it's not. Like, obviously, like there's that saying of like being an overnight success. Nobody's an overnight success. Like people put in work for years sometimes to get the results that they're getting. So don't think that you're the exception to the rule. Like you're going to have to change your habits and you're going to have to stick to that for some time. And it's going to be boring. It might not be fun. It might be hard, but choose, like they said on there was a trend, like choose your hard because both ways are hard. Like settling for, a certain way of living that you're not content with, that's really hard. If you're not content with your physique, right, and you know that you need to work on your fitness, walking by the mirror every day and not liking what you see, that's hard. Okay. Going and starting to go to the gym, maybe you're shy, maybe you don't even know what to do. That's also hard. Choose what kind of hard you're trying to experience because they're both going to be difficult. But either way, you're choosing what you're experiencing. So at least be real because what you're choosing, that's what you like. That's what you prefer at that moment. So be honest with yourself. Okay, you're so great. Thank you. Being alone is a great way to improve mental health. I definitely think that solitude is a good way to improve your mental health. That's why I said, like, sometimes I stay offline, I don't answer my phone for a day or two, and that is like a reset button. Like, it kind of helps you tune into, like, real life. Like, you need to really focus on your real life sometimes. Like, we get so lost on the internet and stuff, and me too. Like, I'm literally on it right now. Like, I love the internet. I'm an internet baby. But, staying offline is a really good way to cleanse your energy, cleanse your mind, because sometimes you're watching things or you're watching people or you're reading comments and you have all of these different basically energies around you and voices in your head of like opinions, but it's not really you. So sometimes if you're really trying to lock in, you need to spend some time in quiet. You need to spend some time offline. That's part of leveling up your mental health. I definitely think that. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah, leveling up our fitness and our nutrition, I would say let's start small. Okay, choose small things to focus on. This week, my focus for my nutrition goals, because overall, I'm trying to eat cleaner. And when I say that, that sounds like that sounds like I have to do a lot. Like, that sounds kind of daunting. But what I focused on this week was eating higher protein and a caloric deficit slightly. Okay, nothing crazy, but a slight one. That's what I'm doing. I'm sticking to that right now. That was enough of a change for me. I don't have to go out here and go raw vegan or like do a 500 calorie deficit. Like, that's not going to help me right now. Okay, I need to do one small thing at a time. So any goal you have, we're talking about fitness and nutrition, but any goal you have, you got to start small, right? Because it's made up of your habits. Somebody said, what would you recommend with finding your desires in life? Well, it depends on what desire you have, right? Wouldn't it be specific to what you're trying to do? Um, so yeah, again, about leveling up our fitness, leveling up our nutrition, we got to start small, obviously, right? I'm doing that. And then you have to find a way to make it your new normal. You got to act like if you're really trying to like do so, like make some major movement in your mentality and in your life, when you're trying to do something new and you're scared, like you're trying to eat clean and that feels so out of the norm for you. This is the trick, okay? Are you ready? This is the mental trick that you have to do. You need to act like you've been doing this your whole life, okay? That's part of how you change your behavior is by changing your identity, right? So the easiest way to do that, when you have a goal, when you're trying to adopt a new habit, when you're trying to make a new change, you got to act like you've been doing that your whole life. Okay? You're going to the gym. You never went to the gym before. You never went to that gym before. You never worked out by yourself. Maybe you always work out with a friend or you only work out at home. Honey, you need to walk into that gym like you go there every single day. Okay? You need to wear your best outfit. You need to do the workout. You don't think you're doing it right? I've done this so many times where I'm like, am I even using this thing right? I don't care. I'm gonna be like full confidence, like, yeah, I've been here. That's just part of that mental game, okay? So part of the level up is mental. Like, you gotta act like you've been doing that your whole life. Someone said, but you spitting for real on some real shit. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's just what I do. No, I'm kidding. Someone said, just get your heart broken. I mean, that's definitely motivation right there if I ever found one. Okay. Will you share this live on YouTube? This live is definitely on YouTube. It's live right now. Also, there was a part 1 to this, and that's on my YouTube too. So everything's going to be recorded on my YouTube channel. Definitely go and check it out on there. Okay. I love my YouTube fam. That's probably my number 1 place. So thanks for watching this on YouTube. Okay. The energy on YouTube, unmatched. I love TikTok too, though. I love TikTok too. Okay. So we're talking about leveling up our fitness. Sorry, our fitness and our nutrition, right? So we're talking about starting small, making that thing your new normal, okay? I I'm gonna just tell on myself, like I've been eating like absolute garbage for a minute and I get away with it because I work out, right? But obviously that's a part of my life that I'm trying to improve. So this week was my first week that for a while, hold up 1 second. Okay. Watch your language because you will get blocked. I will look like an Olympus occupant by summer. If you lock in right now, you can get that before summer. That's the kind of time I'm on. Before summer. Okay. And we were talking about in my other live, I think it was the one from yesterday. Oh, wait, no, it was from earlier this week about like we were talking about breaking bad habits basically, right? And the thing I wanted to say the most that I think is the most important part of that life is that your goal is going to take as long as you tell yourself it's going to take. So if you're for example, if you're trying to lose weight and you say I want to lose 10 pounds this year, you're going to wait that whole year and you're probably going to only lock in toward like month 11, month 12. Okay? You're going to take all of that time. If you tell yourself that you're going to lose that weight in 3 months, you're going to lose that weight in 3 months. So we play these kinds of games on ourselves where but you have to understand that things will only take as long as you tell yourself they're going to take, you know? Because when you have that fire, like when you really have that like, this or nothing, you're going to get it done, okay? Um if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, I'm also live on TikTok. I'm going to put my TikTok right here. You guys should follow me in there because I go live on my TikTok more often than my YouTube. But if you're watching this on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube because all of these lives are recorded and put on there if you have ever missed any. And if you're new to my page, all of my content is about inner work, personal development. I have an inner work journal available on my page on the link in my bio. And if you're on my YouTube, all of my links are always below my videos. So I have an inner work journal. I have one-to-one personal development sessions available on my website. And also I have a 30-day mindset shift program. All right. So I'm doing a few things. I also have a membership program that I'm working on. It's going to come back soon. It's not active right now, but there's ways to work with me. So check out my links in my description on YouTube and on TikTok. All right. So are we talking about today's topic, leveling up our appearance, leveling up our mental health, leveling up our health in general. I was seeing how one of the biggest life hacks when you have a goal is to someone said, that's what's up. Thank you. Someone said she knows human psychology. Ball. Yes. Someone said optimistic queen. Yes. All right. Period. All right. So we're talking about leveling up our appearance, leveling up our health next, right? So besides making it your new normal, so I want you to think of a goal that you have right now. What's one small goal that you have? Don't make it something crazy, okay? What's one small goal you have right now? Think of that goal in your mind. Think about one thing you can do to get there. And the next time you do that thing, please act like you've been doing that your whole life. Okay? That's what we're going to do. That's the time we're on right now. Okay? That's how you're going to see some results because you're going to stick to the habits that you're creating by literally changing the way that you think about yourself, like changing your identity basically, right? So making it your new normal. Normalize that thing so fast, even if it feels like you've never done this thing before or you're scared or a lot of people talk about imposter syndrome, right? Like and imposter syndrome is basically like feeling out of place, feeling like this isn't really who you are, feeling like a fluke. The easiest way to cheat that is to like just tell yourself that you do this all the time, like this is your new normal, this is who you are now. It's not something you're trying to do, it's something you already are. You already are the person that works out. You already are the person that chooses salmon over fried chicken at the restaurant. You already are the person that does their skincare routine and cares enough about themselves to get dressed in the morning before they leave the apartment and not leave their house looking some kind of way. You already are that person. That's the kind of talking you have to do to yourself. This is the kind of like mentality work I had to do. I mean, I'm not saying someone said salmon over chicken. I'm just saying like, salmon over fried chicken. Is that like not a healthier option than fried food? But that was just an example. So, don't sue me. Someone said, what do you coach? I do mindset coaching, personal development, inner work style coaching. I also have a journal that I feel like I don't talk about enough. So if you're watching this, please check out my inner work journal. I feel like journaling is a really big part of how I improve my mental health. So I made a journal a while ago and I keep forgetting to mention it. Definitely check that out on my page if you're trying to get started on. Someone said, nah, you're right. Okay, so you know what I was trying to say. Thank you. Someone said you're beautiful. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, we got to normalize the things that we're trying to do very, very quickly. Okay, so for example, I'm trying to eat clean. When I make my food now, honey, I've been doing this my whole life. I always make my food at home. What do you mean? Like, I never door dashed every single night of the week. I always made my food. Okay? That's who I am now. That's who I am now. Someone said, "Hi from Paris, France." Oh, you missed the beginning. I was saying how I'm a Francophile and I love French everything. So, hello from Paris. I love Paris. Hi from Paris, France. I want to know more about your inner health journal. It's an inner work journal. It's basically for people that want to improve their mentality and want to really start that like reflection through journaling. Have you ever started journaling and you don't really know what to write about? This journal resolves that issue by giving you things to write about, things to think about. You're supposed to do one of the prompts every single day. It's like basically text of a topic that I'm talking about. The theme of the journal is wisdom because that's kind of what my pages are about. So you'll get text on like a concept that I consider a pillar of wisdom. Then you get a bunch of prompts, and then you get to free write on the prompts that I gave and on the things that I wrote. Erica, my friends on my live, my friends on my live. Hey, Erica. Hey. Okay, oh my gosh, you caught me right on time because I was talking about my inner work journal available on my page. Yes. So yeah, did I answer your question? Because someone said hi from Paris, France. Want to know more about your inner work journal? So yeah, someone said, "What do you make? Miss you too." Thanks so much for joining my live. I started going live now. I know this is weird, but I'm on live now. I forget that anyone can just go on. It's so funny. But yeah, I miss you too. We're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty, and I'm live on YouTube and TikTok. So we're out here. We're out here talking about our level up journey. Okay, and we were just talking about normalizing our goals, acting like we do that thing all the time. Someone said, "What do you be making?" Well, honestly, I've been putting my stuff, like, I've been putting the meals that I make on automatic, like very easy things. So I buy these protein shakes because they're just easy to pick up. I get the Premier protein shakes. I like the cinnamon flavor and the vanilla, so I normally have that. And I make basic things. I'm not the best cook. I'm working on it, but what did I make yesterday? Oh, I make a lot of ground beef because it's just easy to make, and I eat that with like potatoes a lot or like sweet potatoes and eggs, simple stuff. Or I'll pick up something, but I try to make my food. I bought fruit. I'm trying over here. Someone said, "How are you?" I'm doing good. We're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty. This is part two. If you're watching this on my TikTok, part one is on my YouTube channel. This is part two. Everything's going to be recorded for you guys to watch later. All right. So we talked about normalizing things that we're working on as if we've been doing them our whole life. Okay. So if you're trying to eat clean, guess what? Now you are a person that eats clean all the time. You always ate clean. What do you mean? You always ate clean. Okay. If you're trying to improve your skin, maybe you don't like how your skin is looking. What do you mean? You always did the skincare routine. You always cared for what you ate. Okay. You're trying to quit smoking. What do you mean? You've always been a non smoker. You don't even smoke. You're not a smoker. You got to change the way that you look at yourself when you're trying to do these things. So, what are some goals that you guys are working on right now? How can we make that happen a little bit faster? Okay, this is part of that mentality work that we have to work on. All right. So yeah, right now my new normal is that I eat clean. Okay. I had to say bye bye, DoorDash. Bye. You're not welcome here because I'm trying to get, in shape. What else am I doing? Besides eating clean, I'll let you guys in on some other goals that I have. Well, obviously I'm trying to be more active on my social media. So what do you mean going live is scary? I always go live. This is who I am. I'm a live streamer. I'm a live streamer. I go on live all the time. Okay, I'm not scared. Like, I do this. This is now my fourth one. And can you believe I've been making YouTube videos for more than like 5 years and I never went live? This week I'm like, this is what I do now, okay? And it is helping my pages grow. So thanks so much for watching. My YouTube channel is Renesita, Reneecita. I'm live on there right now. All of my lives here on TikTok get put on my YouTube channel, so I highly recommend subscribing. And if you're watching this on my YouTube, my TikTok is Dream Styling NYC. So definitely follow me on there because I'm really active on my TikTok especially. All right, so normalizing things super fast, right? We're normalizing these changes that we're making to our health, to our beauty routine, whatever it is that we're working on. Today, we're talking about health and beauty, but obviously, you can use this no matter what it is that you're working on. Okay, starting small, making it your new normal. And guess what? After a few days, it's going to start to feel like you've been doing this forever. So, earlier this week, when I really decided, really decided that now is the time that I'm going to change my eating habits. Now is the time that I'm not going to order DoorDash every night. Now is the time that I'm not going to pick up those snacks from the deli, from the supermarket, and watch Love Island for 3, 4 hours. Now is the time. When I really decided that, okay, the first 3 days was like, it was awful. I was almost emotional, okay? I'm, like, missing my snacks. I'm missing the comfort that those habits brought me, right? Now, I'm on day 4, day 5, I don't even really miss it, Like, now I'm like, "This is what I do." Because why? What happened in between? Now, I'm so focused on what it is that I want to see happen that I'm like, am I really gonna let these little stupid snacks and DoorDash orders, like, really get in the way of, like, what I'm trying to look like this summer? Am I really gonna do that? No. Now in my mind, after 3 days, 4 days of focusing on, like, what my goal is and actually changing my habits of, like, eating this way. I don't have Snapchat. Of actually eating this way. I probably should make one because I know a lot of people use that. Is that, like, still a thing? Snapchat? Because I used to have one in high school. But yeah, so after a few days of doing that new habit, you're gonna feel like you've been doing it forever and it's not gonna feel as hard. And I feel like I always talk about food and fitness and health because it's one of those things that's always going to be relevant. Like our health and our nutrition and our fitness is always going to be relevant our whole life. And sometimes it's not a matter of how you look, but like literally like your your biological health, like your actual like muscular strength and like whatever people say, like your grip strength, like literally that's going to always be relevant. So I always talk about this on my YouTube, on my TikTok, because it's so important. And I've been super open about the fact that I've had to work on my relationship with food a lot. I've had to work on my relationship with food. Sometimes I'm really locked in and I'm eating clean and I have, control over that area of my life. And sometimes I do not. And I talk about it a lot on my YouTube channel. But after a few days of changing your habits, you're gonna feel like you've been doing this forever. So I'm on day 5 of increasing my protein and doing a slight caloric deficit. And in the beginning of my caloric deficit, it felt like the end of the world. What happened? Where are you from? I'm from New York, born and raised, proud New Yorker. Yeah, so after a few days, you feel like it's nothing, right? And then also, like on the topic of fasting, we were talking about that earlier. When you start fasting for the first time, you're gonna feel like this is so hard. Like honestly, I used to fast a lot when I was younger, and it was like nothing. Like I was like, yeah, like it was nothing because I was super. I guess maybe my lifestyle at the time made it easier, or whatever I had on my mind at the time. Fasting wasn't that hard. But now that I started to try fasting after a long time of not doing it, like, it was really hard. I was, like, really shocked at how much of a struggle it was for me to begin fasting again. But now that I've done it a few times, I'm like, "Okay, like, this is starting to feel a little bit easier." So, you have to allow that little grace period, but, like I said earlier, the amount of time that you take the amount of time that you tell yourself something is going to take is the amount of time it's gonna take. If you tell yourself it's gonna be a year until you fix your weight problem, it's gonna be a year. If you give yourself 3 months, it's gonna be 3 months, right? So that's a big part of, leveling up our health, okay, is setting shorter time frames if you're really serious because chances are you can do that a little bit sooner than you think. You don't need that much time. If you really focus all of your attention on this one area, you're bound to see results, okay? Because work is never really wasted. Work always goes somewhere. And a lot of people who are entrepreneurs can attest to that. Like it feels like they're working towards something. A lot of entrepreneurs, they talk about it, how they had to work for a long time without pay, without seeing any kind of results. But then over time, they have this success and people think it was just one thing they did when it was like freaking 15 years of things that they did. It's not just one thing, you know, it was mindset, it was personal development, it was business, it was changing industries, it was probably moving, it was managing their social life, maybe having to manage their relationships. Like it was so many things. It's not just one. Okay. So, yeah. All right. Leveling up our beauty, leveling up our appearance, leveling all of that up. If you're trying to focus on your fitness, I would suggest finding a workout style that you like. Just start there because the whole thing of like you need to do this one kind of workout to get a result is not true. Okay? Like choose a way of being active, choose a movement style that you enjoy, that you can stick to, and that's going to be your fitness routine for now. And then eventually you can try out different things. But don't mentally play this game with yourself where you start thinking that I need to work out this way or I'm not going to get the result or I'm not really working out. Like I need to do HIIT. I need to do like an hour of HIIT every day or I didn't really work out. No. You can work out any way that you want. You can choose any style of movement that you want and just stick to that. And you'll feel a difference from that. That's a good place to start, is it not? Right? Okay, if you're just joining my live, definitely check out my YouTube channel, Reneecita, Reneecita. Also, check out all of the products and services that I have available on my page. I have mentorship programs, I have a 30-day program, one-to-ones, and I have an inner work journal for people that like this kind of content. I literally have a journal where you can do the inner work on yourself. You don't even need me, okay? That's something you can bring into your own routine. Speaking of leveling up our health routines, we have to level up our mental health. Journaling has been a very big part of that for me. It's on my page called Wisdom in Dark Paradise. Thank you guys for watching. We're almost done here. This is part 2. Watch part 1 on my channel. Yeah, so finding a workout style that you like, that's part of leveling up our fitness routines. Don't trick yourself into thinking that you can only do one thing to see results. Only one kind of workout style. I know right now what's really trendy is Pilates, Princess Pilates. Now, I'm biased because I love Pilates. I do actually love Pilates, but I like mat Pilates. That's another topic. But anyways, like, but it's not true that that's the only kind of workout that will help me see results. Like sometimes I go on a walk, sometimes I swim, sometimes I do that high intensity cardio with weights. Like, you know, it's not just one style that's going to get you the results that you want. So we have to be careful of when we're taking, especially advice from people that just because they had success in that area or results from that thing doesn't mean that's the only way. Okay. I actually had to deal with that kind of mentality a lot because when you're an entrepreneur, there's more than one way to get success. It's not like a one step-by-step thing you have to do. Like there's different ways to get there. So that applies to working out as well. Thank you guys for joining my TikTok. Watch my YouTube channel if you like this kind of content. Somebody said everybody has their own walk. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Someone said don't be stressing. Thanks for saying that because that's what's next. Okay, talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our nutrition. Someone said, this is such a gem. I used to think I had to work out for an hour, but I was never consistent now. I do 10 minutes and I see results, right? Exactly. It's just about creating the habit. And then the trick of it is that once you even do those 10 minutes consistently enough, you're going to love the feeling of having, you know, worked out for that time. You're going to love how you feel. You're going to love the little results that you see, that it's going to motivate you to then do more, right? So I love that. Honestly, that's something that I have to do with myself too, because I'm a freaking workout addict. I have an addiction to working out. It's harder for me to not work out than it is to work out. I have that kind of thing. But that works against me because we literally need rest days to see results. So there were times when I was working out and I wasn't taking enough rest days that I wouldn't see any progress because I wasn't resting. So like I have to cut down to see more results, ironically. And then I noticed that when I take rest days, I'm starting to see like the bloatedness and the inflammation go down. And it's like, wow, I actually had to do less. So everybody has to kind of, you know, figure out their own fitness routines, but that's why we're here. That's why we're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty. Someone said overthinking is like creating a problem that wasn't even there. Yeah, I love that. And I also heard this quote that's like worrying is like worshiping the problem, right? And I'm definitely one of those people that worries a lot, and I have to always remind myself of that because it's like that same energy you could be using to focus on the thing that you actually do want. Like, you know what that reminds me of? Like when I wasn't doing what I had to do to like when my habits with eating weren't good, like when I was eating a lot of junk food often, even though I looked fine, this is kind of where that whole body dysmorphia thing comes in. But even when I looked fine, I would like see a reflection of myself and I would be like, ugh. But it's not literally because of how I look. It's because I know that I'm not doing my best. Like I know that I'm not. So it affected how I saw myself. And then the ironic part is that I would spend so much time worrying about how I looked because I wasn't content with how I looked because I wasn't having the best habits versus using that same energy and attention to focus on how I would feel if I were to eat cleaner. You know what I mean? And 1 week of making that change and I feel so different. Like honestly before like when I wasn't eating the best, I knew I had to make a change because I had low energy and I'm not naturally that way. So when that started happening, I was like, oh no, like something has to change. So I'm 1 week in and thank God because now I have enough energy to go live. Like this is really different from making recorded videos. Like it takes a lot of what's it called? It's more like stimulating, I'll say, right? Someone said, "This is the longest I've ever been on someone's live." Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Okay. It sounds like you like personal development style videos. So definitely check out my YouTube channel so that you can know every time I'm going live because I don't think TikTok notifies you, or am I wrong? Someone said, "Hello, how are you?" I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for joining the live. We're talking about leveling up our health, leveling up our appearance. Okay. Of course, everything is like connected, but that's today's topic. And if you missed the beginning, this is recorded on my YouTube channel as well for my YouTube fam, because I love my YouTube fam a lot. And I love my TikTok fam that I'm creating. So, yeah. All right, we're almost done, right? We're going to talk about, okay, so again, the same way that you have to find a workout style that you like so that you can stick to it, you have to find eating habits that you like that you can stick to. So and I've had to do a lot of work around this myself because like the way that we are trained to go on diets from when we're little is just so like it's a rabbit hole once you really start thinking about it. So I had to do a lot of untraining. I don't know if that's the word, but I had to like cleanse my mind from thinking that I always have to be on a diet or like follow a diet to get results. So finding like and just understanding that I don't constantly have to be on a diet was enough of a mental relief to like actually help me see progress. Like I was kind of going in circles. But when I started like untraining myself from like that diet mentality and actually, wanting to live a healthier lifestyle and not having these black and white rules for myself around what I eat. Like this food is bad, this food is good. Like there's so many levels to this like relationship with food and fitness. It goes on forever. That's why I like talking about it because I've learned so much and it's really impacted my life. But like I had to train myself to not think of, always going on a diet. Like I need to do this kind of diet or I'm not eating good. Like, no, I'm bad. I ate this when I should be eating this. Do you know what kind of mental anxiety that caused me for so long that if I'm not careful comes back? So creating eating habits that you like and that are easy to stick to without making food like the villain, like just having a solid routine for yourself that's sustainable and reasonable is going to take you really far, right? So right now, all I'm doing that I'm seeing really big results from is I'm eating higher protein. I'm not saying this is for everyone. This is for my personal goals. And let me just share what they are with you so that you can, use your own judgment. Right now, I'm trying to lower my body fat percentage. That's my very specific goal. I don't even care about my weight because I have muscle. I just want to lower my body fat so that I can see my muscle definition a little bit more. So personally, I need to increase my protein. That's what I'm working on. That's the habit that I changed. I don't know what that means. Someone said lifestyle shifts over diets. Exactly, exactly. But that took a lot of inner work for me because I used to model and like, I don't know, that just changed my brain chemistry. Like you just feel like you always have to be on a diet. Like, it's just crazy how much it affects your mind. So, yeah, creating eating habits that you like and eating style that you like, something that you can stick to according to your own personal goals, that's key, okay? If you're watching this live and you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Reneecita, Reneecita. I have over like 200 videos similar to this to help you upgrade your mentality, to start your inner work, okay, to work on your personal development. I also have products on my page. If you're on my TikTok, the link is in my bio. I have an inner work journal called Wisdom in Dark Paradise to help you start your journaling practice. It's a 5-day journaling practice. I have one-to-one sessions available for your unique goals, life coaching sessions. And I also have a 30-day mindset shift program available on my page too. So go and check that out. I will say that the 30-day program is definitely more catered toward women. So keep that in mind. Okay. All right. Next. I got carried away with the time and I do have to go soon. But okay. Next, I want to say leveling up our health, leveling up our beauty is that we need to find ways. This is probably the number one thing that I'm trying to do through my work, through my videos that I just became aware of recently. But basically, my role, like as somebody in personal development, a voice in personal development, as somebody, coaching, is to help people decrease their stress, help people find ways to manage their stress. That's kind of what all of this comes down to. All of this mentality work, all of this personal development comes down to helping you manage your stress, because it affects the way that you view the world when you are less stressed. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the bigger picture. And obviously raising self-esteem, that's a part of my personal brand and my mission here on YouTube and TikTok. But decreasing our stress is going to inversely affect how our appearance is. You're going to look more beautiful when you're relaxed. You're going to naturally look more beautiful. You don't have to try to be beautiful. You will be beautiful if you can decrease your stress, okay? People focus on like the physical things to change, but literally, have you seen somebody relax versus somebody who's very stressed? They look physically different. Even the same person, me when I'm stressed out versus me when I'm chilling, two different people. It comes down to like even like your posture, like the people read that, so it affects how attractive you look. So decreasing our stress is going to help us level up our appearance, level up our health. Okay, we can decrease our stress by watching personal style development, mindset, motivation videos. We can journal. Okay, I have a journal available. So cutting down on stress, whatever that means to you, let me know in the chat on TikTok or on YouTube what it is that you're doing to cut down on stress, because stress, what they say about stress, guys, stress is a silent killer. I don't want to get dark, but it's the truth, right? Okay. So what's stressing you out right now? What is on our mind? What are we stressing out about? Because I want to challenge you today to upgrade what you consider to be a problem. Sometimes we're stressing about things that aren't really problems, okay? Especially us ladies. We love to sometimes be a little bit dramatic. Like we have a little bit of a flair for the dramatic. Sometimes we're trying to, overcomplicate things that are very simple. Okay, like it's just a part of our brain chemistry. I think that's just a part of it. But, upgrading, like increase your threshold for what you consider to be a stressful thing, okay? Because some things aren't really problems. You don't have enough money to eat, real problem. That's a survival problem. Somebody didn't text you back, not really a problem. Who cares? You're still living, you're still breathing, you still have water. That's not a real problem. So sometimes, like, think about the problem that you're thinking about, like whatever is stressing you out, and ask yourself, is this even a real problem right now? Or is this a problem I'm trying to make? Is this something I'm just coming up, something I'm exaggerating and dramatizing? Someone said we should be eating from the ground to the table instead of eating from canned foods and preserved foods. Yeah, I know a lot of people are into that. Isn't there a name for that? Like farm table? I don't know. I see that in restaurants marketing. Someone said I'm stressed. All right. We're talking about decreasing stress, so I don't like to hear that you're stressed, because that's the opposite of what we're trying to do over here on this live. We're trying to unstress. Someone said farmer's market. Yeah, farmer's market, but This is what I mean. I've seen a lot of restaurants say farm to table. That's what I was trying to say. So, ooh, wow. Someone said, I just had sleep paralysis and I'm not going back to bed. Pray. You got to pray. Sometimes it's spiritual. It's definitely scary, but I think it's a spiritual experience. You got to pray that away. Okay. Becoming stress free. Also, if you feel like you're not going back to bed, that's because you're scared, right? You have to train yourself to not be in fear. That's another thing we got to stop doing is living in fear all the time. You got to learn how to like fight back, even in the spiritual realm. Like you can't take that laying down. You got to start fighting back. These spirits. FOH. Someone said, I pray every day. Good. That's how you stay protected. Someone said you're beautiful. Thank you. All right, so we're talking about being stress-free. That's part of leveling up our health, leveling up our appearance. Easier said than done, but there's so many ways to decrease our stress, okay? And I do not have a tongue piercing, no. There are so many ways to decrease our stress, okay? For me personally, I work out. That's part of how I decrease my stress because I'm just like, it's just like a physical release. What else do? I journal. I journal every morning. Don't make it like a thing where it's like if you don't do this thing, you're going to be bad. But just know that you have these things available to you. Okay. I have a journal available. What else do I do to de-stress? I try to get a lot of sleep. I'm not going to lie. I take naps. I sleep early. I'm one of those people. And I'm really careful about who I hang out with. Okay. That's kind of how I manage my stress. But I know everybody has their different ways. Somebody said, I work out every day. It helps. Yeah, working out is a huge way to decrease your stress. I'm like all for that. Someone said, train your mind to relax. Wait, train to relax your mind. Going to the library helped me a lot. The library for me is also one of those safe places because it's like quiet. People are studious. I always said that like academia for me was almost my like safe place. Like I was one of those weird people that actually liked going to school. I was like, yes, school, like, I still like that environment a lot. That's why like I encourage people to constantly learn. Like it's always fun. Someone said I go to the sauna as my safe place to relax. Yeah, I love the sauna too. It's definitely very relaxing and detoxifying. All of that comes off you when you sweat it out, right? Okay. So we want to decrease our stress. Time for us to think about personally what it is that we can do to manage our stress in our daily life, okay? I have resources available, but you don't have to work with me. You can find your own ways. I have a journal that you can use to help you kind of go through and reflect. I have one-to-one sessions if you have a very personal issue that you want to work through or need coaching on. And I have a 30-day program to upgrade your mindset and your mentality. These are my services that I offer to help you decrease your stress because that's my role as a life coach. Someone said, I'm a pilot and data engineer. I have a heavy workload. So you definitely need to find ways to relax, right? Find ways to manage your stress. So yeah, cutting down on stress is going to be a big part of how we level up our appearance, level up our health, because it affects on the surface level, literally how you physically look. It'll make you look more beautiful if you're approaching life from a relaxed way versus feeling overwhelmed and constantly stressed, little things, one thing at a time to manage that. I know this, there's layers. And also upgrading what you consider to be a problem so that you're not stressing over every little thing. Okay. That's how you kind of like rise above it. Okay. An easy way to de-stress, an easy way to stop overthinking, getting outside more often. People try to be funny and say, oh, I need to go touch grass. No, literally, you need to touch some grass. Do you hear me? I want to shake the computer. Please go touch some grass. Someone said, I run a video production company and people get surprised. I tell them I have other hobbies. Yeah, it's important to have a life outside of work. What, is it because it takes a lot of time or they're just surprised that you make time for other things? Why would they be shocked? We should all have hobbies. Hobbies are healthy. This is my hobby. Hold on. Okay, getting outside more often. I am almost ashamed to admit that, like, on days that I've been overthinking, on days that I've had all kinds of anxiety, simply leaving my apartment and going on a walk. resolved that issue for me. Okay. Sometimes it really is that simple. Sometimes you really do just have to go for a walk, go outside, realize that the world is bigger than the four walls of your apartment, of your room. Okay. Like that does so much for your mind. It really does. I'm not even kidding. So spend more time in nature. And that's going to help you a lot. It's going to help you de-stress. And yeah, get outside more often. Even if it's not nature, just getting outside, getting some fresh air every once in a while. If you're home all day, step out. Step out. It's going to be good for your mind. Okay, last but not least, on this fun little live we did on upgrading our beauty and our health is letting go of the habits that drain you. Easier said than done, but that's going to help you upgrade your health because obviously, if you're drained, how can you be your best? How can you show up as your best? How can you feel your best? We did a live earlier this week, also on my channel, about breaking bad habits. So go and check that one out. I feel like as I do more lives, I'm getting better at it. So excuse me if that one was really awkward and weird. But yeah, go and check that out. All of these lives are going to be recorded on my channel. On YouTube, Erica said, I started a vegetable garden. It has improved my diet and greatly helped with stress. Grounding is a real thing. Yeah. A lot of people say gardening is something that helps them relax and it's improved your diet. Look at that natural consequence. It's also helping your nutrition and helps with stress. Grounding is a real thing. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Thanks for sharing. Someone said, surprised that I make time for other things as well, but I do practice a lot of mindfulness. Yeah, it's very good to practice mindfulness. I try to do that. I feel like I had to really learn how to practice mindfulness when it comes to eating because eating can become a really mindless thing if you let it. If you let it. Yeah. So I've been on here for a while. I have a part one to this live that's recorded on my channel, and I have a part two. This was part two. So both of them are going to be recorded and on my channel if you missed it. Definitely stay up to date with my YouTube channel, RENEECITA. And if you want to keep up with my work and you like personal development and inner work style videos, all of the links are in that one link on my TikTok page. You'll find my one-to-one link, the link to my blog where I literally write about these topics and things that I'm learning as the week goes on. The cool part about my blog is that you get all of my posts sent directly to your email, so you don't have to go and look for it. And it's a good way to stay motivated, just have that sent directly to your inbox. So keep up with me on there. My Substack you'll see the link on my page. Everything's on there. I have one-to-ones, I have an inner work journal available, and I have a 30-day program, okay, that you can do as self-study. Sending you love right back on YouTube. Hey, it's going to be recorded if you missed the beginning. Someone said, so exercising, physical contact, vacations, reading, sleeping, massages, walks, are these the ways that you de-stress? Because that sounds like a great menu. I love that. All right, so this live was so much fun. Thank you guys for joining. I had the best time ever. Yay! I'm going to go live more often. So I think the best way to know when I go live is to subscribe to my YouTube because YouTube notifies people. TikTok doesn't do that. I don't know why. But I want to do lives these days more often than I want to do uploaded videos. So I want you guys to join whenever you can. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Reneecita, RENEECITA. Check out all of my products and services in the links underneath my content. It was so much fun chatting with you guys. Okay. All of this will be recorded and put on my YouTube channel. I almost don't want to go, but I have to do something. So I had so much fun. Someone said, stay blessed, going back to work. I'm about to get stressed. LOL. Oh gosh. At least tell yourself that you'll be stressed while you're at work. And then once you're out of work, you're not going to be stressed anymore. Yeah. So I gotta go. This has been a long one. Hi. And bye also, because I have to go now. But this was fun. Okay, follow me. Bye-bye. All right, guys. So much fun on YouTube. Let me know what topics you want to see next. This was like the best time ever. I'm loving going live. I can't believe it took me this long. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one, which will probably be, I don't know. I'm not good at planning, so just keep your bell on. Bye.